What is event sourcing? I will try to explain this concept in general as simple as possible. Then I will try to explain it in the computer science and programming context. And then hopefully we will walk through some code katas and real-world examples. When people try to answer this question, they quickly jump to concepts like back-end programming, entities, domains, or storing, restoring, and querying data. But what is event sourcing in general? So everything, and by everything I mean humans, machines, and computer applications and so forth, go through a journey in their lifetime, and based on their experience, they change internally. These changes are the series of facts that those things go through. And obviously, based on what they have been through, they wind up with some current state. Now, I know this might sound a bit overwhelming, and I'll try to clarify it with some examples. Take a male human being, for example. He is born at some date by some parents, and maybe that's the first fact about this human's life. Then he is given some name. Fast forward a bit. This kid sees something and gets afraid to death. Fast forward again, this kid goes to school and learns stuff. He goes to gym and gains some muscles. Say the kid is 18 now. What is his current state? Well, he is 18. He is known by his birth name. He's an athlete and he's afraid of the dark. Going through some other journey and facts, this kid could have ended up being fat as its current state, for example. So, which is more important, the current state or the series of facts and events that resulted and projected to the current state? Let's get back to the kid example. He is afraid of the dark, right? And he goes to some psychologist. Now, for the psychologist to be able to compensate and fix the issue, she tries to help the kid recall his memories and the series of facts that resulted him being afraid of dark in the first place. The psychologist cannot determine the root of the problem only by his current state. Imagine a world in which everybody only remembers the last state about everything and everyone and have forgotten their background stories. It is like the Memento movie that the guy only tattooed and carried the last state about himself and his surroundings on his body and could not answer a lot of questions. Now, don't get me wrong. Current state is important. It answers questions, and without it, we cannot make decisions that will produce the next facts and events. For example, the state that he is an athlete helps him to make a decision for his future to become a champion. And for him at that moment to make this decision does not matter how he wind up getting to gym at some point of his life. But with the series of the facts, we can answer any question. Although based on the question itself, it might take some time to go through the facts from the beginning and come to the conclusion and project the answer. But all the information is retained, and by having those facts, the events, and their timings and details, we can answer any question. So in short, event sourcing is recognizing the series of the facts as the source of the truth and not the current state, which is basically the side effect of those facts. Because even always it's possible that for some reason the current perception and state is wrong, but it is only possible to compensate it by walking through the detailed path of facts that led something there. Now, I'm very careful about choice of words here. I use compensating instead of correcting or changing or replacing. Because no one can change past them facts, even though those facts were the result of wrong decisions based on some wrong state at some time. They can only compensate by a new fact that explains the error, which helps to get into a correct current state. I'll get back to the metaphor of journey a lot through this series about event sourcing. In the next video, I'll try to explain this concept in computer science and programming context. And then we will go through a bunch of coding katas and examples. So stay tuned.